Hello. I will just check that whether the sound is clear or not. If it is clear, then we will move on to the today's point. Hello. I will just check. Okay, so as I can see, the sound is very much clear and there are no other errors are there. Okay, so with this now let's start with this next part in the ecology lecture series, that is the biosphere part 5. So good evening all of you. We have seen in the last lecture some part of that syllabus which is not going to be the notes which we have, which are not going to be given by others. Okay, so we have seen the biotic life in all of these three spheres of biosphere, that is the lithosphere, hydrosphere and the atmosphere. Now the next part is also quite different and something which you will not find in other books. Okay, so this is we have already seen. Okay, so this is the today's part which we are going to see, that is the what are the life which is there in the extreme environments. Okay, or whatever the biotic life is there. Okay, we are going to see the biotic life which is there. Okay, just a minute. We are going to see the biotic life which is present in the extreme environments of the earth, right? So we have seen biotic life in different spheres. We have seen the biotic life which was present on the lithosphere. We have seen the biotic life which was present in the atmosphere, okay, in the troposphere, in the stratosphere. Then we have also seen the biotic life which is there in the different water, okay, deep water. Okay, we have seen the abyssal plane also. We have seen the epipelagic plane, these layers. So we have seen the life which is there distributed throughout these different layers of the biosphere. Okay, see, generally in the concept of biosphere, as I have told you, you will find that the notes will give you about the lithosphere, the atmosphere and the hydrosphere, but only few will give you the notes on this. Okay, till now there is no notes which is having these notes into their hard copy, right? So this is our first only. So that is how we are making our notes best as compared to others and one-stop solution. Okay, that is why it also takes time. Okay, because work lab is the one book, the earth's at the, I think I have already told you the name of the book which I am referring. Okay, so the earth's biosphere or something like that, the author is the work lab. So from that book only this also content, this content has also been taken. ठीक है, तो हमने लिथोस्फीयर देखा, हाइड्रोस्फीयर देखा, एटमॉस्फेयर देखा, एंड हमने ये भी देखा कि इन तीनों स्फीयर्स में क्या क्या लाइफ प्रेजेंट है और कौन कौन सी लाइफ प्रेजेंट है. ओके, अभी जो हमने देखा है, ओके, जो हमें अभी देखना है वो ये है कि वट एवर द डिफरेंट एक्सट्रीम एनवायरमेंट्स आर देयर ऑन द बायोस्फीयर और ऑन द अर्थ, what are those or which are those animals or species or life forms are present in these extreme environmental conditions. Okay, very specific point. Okay, rarely will find this mentioned in any of the books. Okay, so first which we are going to see that those animals or those species which are living in the extreme saline condition. Okay, यहाँ पर salinity बहुत ही ज़्यादा है. Okay, सॉल्ट्स का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन जो है ना यहाँ पर बहुत ही ज़्यादा है. ठीक है, सो इन दिस हाई एक्सट्रीम सलाइन कंडीशन लेट्स सी व्हाट आर द टाइप्स ऑफ द एनिमल्स और द स्पीसीज और द प्लांट्स आर लिविंग. ओके, so the first one, see, the basically those animals or species who are living in this high saline condition, they are called as what? Halophile. उनको क्या कहा जाता है? Halophiles कहा जाता है. ठीक है, बट हमें ये भी तो पता होना चाहिए, वी शुड ऑल्सो नो दैट हाउ these halophiles are able to survive in this extreme saline condition. The reason is these halophiles produce osmoprotectants. Okay, बहुत ही शॉर्ट में मैंने कंसाइज करके दिया है आपको. ओके, नॉट इन डिटेल, नॉट इन डेप्थ. ओके, ओनली द थिंग्स विच वी रिक्वायर, इट इज गिवन इन दैट फॉर्म ओनली. ओके, जितना हमें चाहिए उतना ही दिया हुआ है. What these halophiles do? These halophiles produce osmoprotectants. Now what these osmoprotectants will do, obviously the osmoprotectants will protect their osmotic pressure, okay, will balance their osmotic pressure. So what they will do, they will balance the internal osmotic pressure of these species or these life forms with the external osmotic pressure, so that these halophiles will be able to survive. Okay, see, ultimately high saline, what is the problem in the high saline condition? Okay, the problem is the osmotic pressure will be very high. Suppose this is the salt solution, okay, you put a cell in here, what will happen? What is the difficulty for this cell? That the osmotic pressure outside this cell is very high, very high concentration of these ions and other solids will be there. Okay, so because of that, what happens, all the water which is present inside the cell will go out, so they will shrink, right? So that is the problem with this high saline condition, but that is going to be corrected, or that problem is going to be corrected by production of what, osmoprotectants, by these life forms. Okay, ये species क्या करेंगे, osmoprotectants produce करेंगे, right? So where these are found? These are found where these osmotic conditions are very high. The Dead Sea and Great Salt Lake, where high concentration of the salts will be there. Okay, so the examples are like this Holobacterium, okay, the brine shrimp and this brine fly. ये examples है who are this found at this high saline condition. You can see this fly is there. These are all the salt conditions, salts are there, right? So they are able to survive at that high salty conditions. The reason is this, osmoprotectants. Okay, next is the extreme temperatures. Okay, now we have just seen that which are those animals which are living at the extreme saline conditions. Now we will have to see the animals which are able to live at highest temperature or extreme conditions. Okay, कौन से, which are those? See, extreme conditions can be high also, can be low also. Okay, so the first are the thermophiles, which are able to live at the higher atmospheric temperatures. These are called as thermophiles. Okay, so then these are what, cryptobiotic and can survive at high temperatures. Okay, that means what, suppose here the species are there. Okay, how these thermophiles will be able to survive? Whenever the higher temperature is there, at that time they will show the cryptobiosis. Okay, we have already seen the cryptobiosis in last lecture. Okay, so these animals will show the cryptobiosis whenever the higher temperature conditions are there, and whenever it cools down. Okay, that means whenever the gentler conditions come back, at that time then that animal or that life form will come out of the cryptobiosis and it will produce the new life forms, right? So that is what is the mechanism of these thermophiles is. Okay, or they are able to survive that high atmospheric or high temperature conditions, thermophiles, right? Basically thermophiles में क्या होता है कि क्रिप्टोबायोसिस शो करते हैं. क्रिप्टोबायोसिस क्या है, हमने लास्ट लेक्चर में देखा. वो क्या सिर्फ क्या करते हैं कि अगर ज़्यादा टेम्परेचर आ गया तो वो क्रिप्टोबायोसिस शो करेंगे. ओके, दे विल शो एक्सट्रीम मेटाबॉलिक इनएक्टिविटी, एंड व्हेन एवर, और जब भी ये ठंडा हो जाता है तब वो क्या कर दे, दे अगेन रीस्टार्ट देयर मेटाबॉलिक प्रोसेस, ओके, टू रिप्रोड्यूस और टू ग्रो. Examples are the tardigrades. Okay, this was the diagram which I was trying to show you in the last lecture. Okay, so these are the tardigrades. What is the specific characteristic about this? Even if you subject them up to the minus 270 डिग्री सेल्सियस also, माइनस मतलब निगेटिव भी, अगर कोल्ड टेम्परेचर में भी इसको सब्जेक्ट किया, या फिर हाईएस्ट टेम्परेचर एज अप टू 151 डिग्री सेल्सियस, then also, okay, even if you subject these tardigrades to minus 270 degrees Celsius or minus or plus 151 degrees Celsius, still they will undergo this cryptobiosis. Okay, so they will show the extreme metabolic inactivity. Now then when the temperature conditions will come back to the normal like 30 or 20, at that time they will again become metabolic active and become able to reproduce. Okay, so this is the second part. Okay, ये तो second example है thermophiles का, which are able to survive at the higher atmospheric condition, right? Next is hydrothermal hyperthermophiles. Okay, पहले तो हमने देखा थे thermophiles. Now these are the hyperthermophiles. They are able to withstand this more atmospheric, more temperature, but they are present at the hydrotherms. Hydrotherms means what? In water. In water means what? In deep sea vent chimneys like this under the water. In these regions you will find these animals or these species like the Pyrococcus furiosus. Animals we cannot call, these are the microbes, so we will call it as what? this species, that is the Pyrococcus furious. Okay, I will see that whether there are any queries are there or not. Okay, so as I can see there are no. कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स है क्या ये भी देखते हैं meanwhile. ठीक है. Targets were in news some months ago. Yes, Bhupendra is saying they were in news. Yes, they will be always be in news. Okay, because it is said that they can travel through this intergalactic space and give rise to the formation of newer life. Okay, ऐसा भी बोला जाता है. Even this is also said that the tardigrades have only seeding the life in different planets. Okay, but that is the different thing, not the things of our this lecture. Okay, so this is the Pyrococcus furiosus. Okay, this is what the species which we will find under these deep water hydrothermal vents. Okay, next is the marine eukaryotic thermophile. Now one eukaryotic example, which is this Pompeii worm. Okay, species कौन सी आपको Pyrococcus furiosus, where you are getting this, you are getting it at hydrothermal vents. But the eukaryotes which you will get at near to these hydrothermal vents is the Pompeii worm. Okay, or also called as Alvinella pompeiana, right? So it can withstand up to 81 degrees Celsius. Okay, so this is this Pompeii worm. So this is example of what? Marine eukaryotic thermophiles. So these are not the eukaryotes. So these are not these are the microbes, no, actually, right? So that's why we are taking a separate category as a marine यूकैरियोटिक थर्मोफाइल्स. ओके, सो दो एनिमल्स है, दो कैटेगरीज है. एक तो वो है जो पानी के नीचे जो ये वेंट्स है, गर्म पानी के दिस बॉटम पानी के नीचे जो सरफेस है ओशियन का, उसके पास में जो ये ऐसे वेंट्स आते हैं जहाँ से गर्म पानी के फव्वारे आते हैं, राइट. सो देयर यू विल फाइंड, वहाँ पर आपको ये ऐसे ऑर्गेनिजम्स मिलते हैं, पायरोकोकस फ्यूरियोसिस. और ऐसे कोई यूकैरियोट्स वर्म्स है विच यू फाइंड एट दिस हाइड्रोथर्मल वेंट्स, एट द साइड्स ऑफ द हाइड्रोथर्मल वेंट्स, उनको कहा जाता है पोम्पेई वर्म, राइट. सो 3 एग्जांपल्स और 3 कैटेगरीज हमने देखी विच आर एबल टू सर्वाइव एट द हायर टेम्परेचर. नाउ द नेक्स्ट कैटेगरी विच वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी और विच वी आर गोइंग टू सी इज द क्रायोफाइल्स और साइक्रोफाइल्स. सी, आई एम नॉट announcing prior this free live lecture onto the common group, because see, already what I want to say is these lectures are, I am making these lectures by putting a lot of efforts, right. Earlier lecture format although was taking less time, but these format of different lectures, adding these different diagrams, is actually taking almost twice the time which I required earlier, right. So I am really reluctant to give this to everyone. Okay, then you will say sir सबको फ्री में तो होना चाहिए. ओके, बहुत सारे लोग को फ्री चाहिए होता है बहुत कुछ, ठीक है. सी, those who want free for them, okay, or those who cannot afford to pay, for them I have already said that from tomorrow, okay, this basics of biology lecture series will start. Okay, so there you will get all the basics of biology from the start, from the basics. So it is entirely almost free series on YouTube. Okay, if you want to see on application, you can pay ₹1 and join it, okay, for the recorded sessions, right. So now let's see next part. Okay, so that's why I'm not announcing it prior, okay, because I just want those students who are already in my batches only for the live session. Because what happens when these other students come for the live session, they ask different questions apart from this. Okay, they have various these, what you can say, general queries also. Okay, so it just disturbs my, and whenever I see such queries online, so it gets difficult for me to skip it. Okay, so that's why I'm not this what you can say, inviting them prior. Okay, I have just announced it 1 minute before onto the group. Okay, so this will be the only last lecture which I'm going to take as a free YouTube lecture for ecology. Okay, rest of the lectures will be there in the application only. Okay, so now let's see, next is the such species like the Pseudomonas and Lactobacillus. Now these are the species which are able to survive the temperature like -20 to 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, so these are called as cryophiles. So they are found in the Antarctic and the Arctic water. Okay, so common examples kya hai? Lactobacillus and Pseudomonas, right. So these are able to survive the lower temperature, right. In this, the second category is the notothenoids. Okay, next category जो animals की है, species की, biotic life की है, वो notothenoids है. So these are the actually fishes which will be found or survive in the Antarctic water. Antarctic water जो freezing water है वहाँ पर ये found होते हैं, right. So what they actually are doing, okay, so they are able to survive, or they have acquired certain characters which has make them able to survive in the Antarctic waters. Okay, ये fishes अंटार्कटिक के फ्रीजिंग कोल्ड वाटर में कैसे जिंदा है. ओके, उन्होंने कुछ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक एक्वायर किए हैं. ओके, स्पेसिफिक. So let's see which are those characteristics. This main characteristic is they are producing the antifreeze glycoproteins. Okay, so antifreeze glycoproteins क्या करता है? See what will happen when you will subject to any organism to the freezing cold water. It itself become ice. Okay, उसका जो खून है वो भी ice बन जाता है, right? So ice formation is the difficulty ना. So these organism or these fishes have acquired these antifreeze glycoproteins. Okay, genetically they are able to produce the antifreeze glycoproteins. Now what happens? Their blood does not produce any ice crystals into them. Okay, उनके body में ice crystal form नहीं होते. So because of that they are able to have, they are able to this what you can continue their blood flow, right? Not only then, they are also have some enzymatic proteins, okay, which are even active in the cold temperature. Okay, generally the what we have heard is that temperature, the enzyme proteins will require certain particular temperature to be active. Okay, but that is not the case with these. Okay, they have certain enzymatic proteins which are even active in the cold temperature. Okay, now these two characteristic, okay, ये जो दो कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है दिस एंटीफ्रीज ग्लाइकोप्रोटीन्स और ऐसे एंजाइम प्रोटीन्स का होना जो कोल्ड टेम्परेचर में भी एक्टिव है, बिकॉज ऑफ दीज टू कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स दे हैव व्हाट able to survive. Okay, not only that, the third characteristic also there, they are also having some specific substrate binding abilities, okay, even at low temperature. So because of this, these three characteristics have helped them to become what, even support metabolism and carry out their daily routine or daily life or daily metabolic activities. Okay, so because of these three activities, what was the case, what is the case, because of these three activities they are able to survive even in the Antarctic water. पहला क्या है, antifreeze glycoproteins which prevent the formation of ice crystal. Second क्या है, certain enzymatic proteins which are active in the cold temperature. And third क्या है, substrate binding abilities even at the low temperatures, so that this normal जो metabolism है वो continue रहे, right? So these are the specific points about these the fishes. Okay, nototherioids. The next example is the mollusks. Okay, next example is your mollusk. We are not going to eat it, okay, but I have found this image in the free category, so I have used it. Okay, so although I am non-vegetarian, but I am not going to eat these, right? So what is the case is that with the mollusks are able to survive low temperatures by producing what, ice nucleators in extracellular fluids. Okay, see mollusks क्या करते, suppose this is the body of the mollusks ना, mollusks will produce certain ice nucleators but outside their cells in the extracellular fluids. Then what happen, those ice crystals which might have formed inside the cells and killed that cell will form outside the cell. Okay, so in this way they will protect their own cells, the mollusks, by producing ice nucleator but secreting them in extracellular fluids. Okay, so that's why these bivalves or gastropods like these animals are able to survive even in this cold temperature, the cryophilic conditions. Okay, also called as psychrophiles. क्या produce करते हैं, they allow formation of the ice crystals but outside the cells, in between two cells, that is the extracellular fluid. Okay, वहां पर वो ice formation होने देते, so that's why the cell is not going to get affected easily, right? The next is the those which are the herbivorous and carnivorous. Okay, now you will see that we have seen how the other animals are able to survive in the low the temperature condition, but how these herbivores and carnivores are able to do it. Very simple mechanism is there. First thing what they do, they store the energy in the form of what, fat. किसके फॉर्म में एनर्जी सेव करते हैं वो, they save the energy in the form of fat. As we know, the polar bears and other animals eat a lot to save this fat in their body only. Okay, once they have store this energy in the form of body fat, then what will be the case, for that time of period or for that period of the year where the temperature conditions will be very low, what you can say freezing. Okay, In that period they will undergo a very long sleep, also called as what, hibernation. Okay, so that दो तीन चार महीने जितने भी time है, whatever that time period is there, for that they will just sleep. Then what will happen, that will protect them from cold. Okay, because they are not going to subject themselves to this cold temperature. For that longer the sleep, they will require obviously the energy, they will utilize the energy which is stored in the form of this body fat. Okay, so the examples are what, some of the deers also and polar bear also. Right? Polar bears which we know specifically, and one of the example is deer also. So these are the herbivores and carnivores which are able to survive even in the freezing atmospheric condition. Next जो हमें देखना है, okay, these are those animals who are able to survive at extreme pH. Okay, maybe in acidic or maybe the basic. Okay, हमने temperature के देखे, temperature के देखा, salinity देखा. Now we will see what, pH. Okay, now we will see the pH. So these are the first category is the acidophile. The examples are the sulfolobus species. Okay, see what is the case with this is, the example is the Picrophilus oshimi. Okay, they are going to or they are able to perform metabolic functions even at the or even near the pH of 0. Okay, that means for PC pH 0 is technically impossible because that is the highest the acidity. Okay, but even near to that, near to the value of that pH 0.07, okay, these are able to what, these are able to perform metabolic functions. Okay, it was not 0, it was 0.07. Okay, so but ऐसे conditions कहाँ पर मिलते हैं, where these such conditions of pH 0.07 are occurring, they are occurring near the geothermal areas where the see, you must have seen these the geothermal hot springs na? Okay, or hot pools. Okay, where the land or the whatever the earth is there, it is heating the water. Okay, so such in geothermal areas or in waterlogged acidic soils, okay, where high acidic conditions are there, in those areas you will find such acidophiles. Example is the sulfolobus. Okay, this is the, you can see the one of the area. Okay, here the water is very high. Okay, here you can see the acidic conditions are there, right? So in these sulfolobus will form, right? So sulfolobus acido Caldarius can grow even at the pH of 2, near to these such acidic condition. pH 2 भी अगर होगा, then also the sulfolobus will be able to grow. Next, which we are going to see is the alkaliphiles. Okay, now we have seen those animals which are able to survive at the acidic conditions. Now we will see those animals who are able to survive at basic conditions. Okay, so they are able to withstand the high pH. That means what, basic pH. Okay, so basically they occurs near to the calcium hydroxide dominated underground water. So this is, you can see the underground cave kind of thing is there. So whatever the water you are going to see, consider it is rich in calcium hydroxide. Okay, so in these caves, in these kind of caves, you will find these type of alkaliphile. The example is the bacillus. यहाँ पर कहीं आपको ऐसा bacillus मिलेगा. Okay, you will find somewhere bacillus. Okay, it will take some time for my handwriting on this digital board to get better. Okay, कुछ time लगेगा because we have just started it 2 months back ना, तो धीरे धीरे वो भी handwriting अच्छी हो जाएगी. Okay, but although we are very less requirement is there for writing anything, right? So now we have seen the extreme pH. अभी हमें जो देखना है वो है extreme radiations. Okay, see, that is why I am saying only one, that book which was the Warclaw brew is there, only this book is having this content. Okay, so that's why you are not having the notes on this part or from anyone else. Okay, इसीलिए आपको कहीं और से notes नहीं है इसके. ठीक है, I will just see that whether any queries are there. Okay, if you have any query you can put there. Okay, now let's see those animals or species who are able to survive at the extreme radiation. ठीक है, the example is Deinococcus radiodurans. Okay, so these are able to survive the high solar UV radiations also, right? So how these animals are able to survive at the extreme radiation condition? Okay, this is we also need to see ना, ये कैसे radiation को कैसे survive कर लेते हैं. Okay, high radiation को, what their basic, whatever the physiology is there, it is in a such a way that they can efficiently repair the whatever the damage which was caused by the DNA, right? So caused by that radiation. Okay, see, particular radiation will damage the DNA. Okay, if that animal is able to survive, is able to repair it immediately, then it will able to survive at that high radiation. Okay, if the damage which was caused by that radiation is not repaired immediately, then there might be some mutations are there, then that the species or animal or organism might die. Okay, but this is not the case with these Deinococcus radiodurans. Okay, they are repairing those damaged DNA which was because of the radiations immediately or very in a very fast way. So that's why they are able to survive, right? So because of that, what will happen? They withstand very high solar UV radiation flux also, right? So that's why they are able to survive at these conditions. So the example is the Deinococcus radiodurans. Okay. Now this was the part. Okay, the last two lectures, these lectures and the fourth lecture was the content which I have taught you in these two lectures is the content which you will not find anywhere. Okay, I can challenge you. Okay, because I have seen and it was not there. Okay, but without these, this concept of biosphere will not be complete. Okay, you may have seen in the concept of biosphere many of these, what you can say, the notes may give you about the lithosphere, hydrosphere or atmosphere, but if you are not giving the component of the biotic life in these spheres, how can you say that you are studying the biosphere? Okay, otherwise it will become just to study the geography, na? See, that is what I was feeling from the initial start. Okay, I am continuously search on these points, na? So when I found this book and this found the points which are given here, at that time I was very much satisfied that yes, now these points will make the entire answer or the entire the concept of biosphere very much complete, right? So this was the part. Okay, we have almost complete the entire whatever the possible points which can come under the concept of biosphere. Now we have completed it. Okay, maybe one or two points I will take in the next lecture, otherwise we will now directly start with the actual points of the syllabus, like the ecotone, ecosystem, the biome and other things, right? So if you have any other these queries, you can ask. I am seeing that one question was asked by the Bhupendra Arya, that is, sir, what is the cryo mesh that is in news about freezing coral in Australia? ठीक है, cryo mesh मैंने नहीं पूछा. See, you are right now reading this news a lot, not I am. Okay, अगर आपको पता ही करना है cryo mesh, then you can ask me this query. Okay, then I will search it and then I will give you the answer here. Okay, because I am whatever the things which are there in the syllabus, it is already taking the entire almost entire of my time in searching these things in different books. Okay, so अगर ये cryo mesh में भी अगर कुछ ऐसा होगा, कोई mesh or network is getting formed of cellular the fibers by these species, and that is called as cryo mesh. Okay, but I am not sure, I have not heard of about it till now. अगर मैं न्यूज़पेपर भी पढ़ता हूँ तो बहुत ही कम न्यूज़ ही पढ़ता हूँ, बिकॉज आई जस्ट लुक फॉर सम ऑफ द साइंस द न्यूज़ एंड देन आई जस्ट इमीडिएटली मूव ऑन टू माई main task. Okay, so if you want the answer on that part, you can ask this query in the common general group. Okay, so there I will tell you that key after searching, not now, I don't know what is this cryo mesh is for now. So apart from that cryo mesh, if you have any query on the part which I have already taught you, you can ask. Okay, Bhupendra, in the comment box itself you can ask. I will wait for your question. Okay, करंट अफेयर के लिए मुझे ऐसा टाइम नहीं है, सो ऐसे क्वेश्चन ना पूछो जो इमीडिएटली रिसेंटली है. ओके, वो ऑलरेडी बहुत लोगों को कम ही लोगों को पता होंगे. ठीक है, you have any other queries on the part which you have complete of these 5 lectures or on this part, you can ask. Okay, otherwise we will meet for the tomorrow's session only directly. Before that we already have another lecture in the morning. Okay, बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग लेक्चर है कल का, फर्स्ट बेसिक्स ऑफ बायोलॉजी का. आप लोगों को बहुत ही ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट आएगा उसमें. ठीक है, कुछ अलग ही कंसेप्ट यूज़ किया है मैंने वहाँ पर. ओके, बिकॉज बेसिक्स ऑफ बायोलॉजी है तो मैंने स्टार्ट, I have earlier decided to start it from standard 6, then I have decided to start from class 4. Okay, now the start which I have decided now of the basics of biology, that is entirely different. Okay, so let's see, कल सुबह 9 बजे देखते हैं. ओके, वो कैसे स्टार्ट है. बहुत ही अच्छा. ठीक है, that is entirely free series on YouTube, but you can also join it on my application ShivaSchool for 1 rupees. Okay, no queries. Okay, as it is said by the Bhupendra Arya. Okay, if you want this answer on the cryo mesh, okay, जस्ट आस्क इन द कॉमन ग्रुप, ओके, जो हमारा चैनल है 8,000 का, वहाँ पर पूछो, सो दैट बहुत से लोगों को ये भी पता चले कि ऐसा कोई करंट का न्यूज़ है. तो देयर आई विल गिव यू, देयर ऑल्सो आई विल टेल यू द सेम थिंग दैट I will require some more time to search on it. Okay, right now actually I'm working on the tomorrow morning's PowerPoint. Okay, जो कि बहुत ही एनिमेटेड सा बन रहा है. ठीक है, so let's see. Still I will give you some answer on that short. Okay, in short on the cryomesh. Okay, cryomesh. So we'll stop here. We will meet in the next lecture directly. Till then, have a great day. Bye bye.